Thank you very much, Reverend. Senator Hill, I'm Attorney Ben Crump along with Attorney Harry Daniels and Attorney Sue Ann Robinson, and we are here in Jacksonville, Florida, once again in opposition to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for what appears to be a pattern and practice of excessive use of force against black motorists for minor traffic violations. Present with us is the college student William McNeil, who, as you all recall, was violently brutalized based on the allegation of a traffic violation, where Attorney Daniels and Attorney Robinson exposed the lie and what happened in that case. And so we're here on a new case of excessive use of force. And equally important, we are here in defense of black women, because we have to stand up for black women when they are brutalized by the very people who are supposed to protect and serve them. So we have present with us the women who were arrested on October 7th. We have Erica McGriff, this sister who was simply trying to do what most parents do every day, not just in Jacksonville, but all across America, going to the school to pick up her 9-year-old daughter. And you're going to hear from her, and she's going to tell you briefly, because we have these criminal charges pending that we think is something we should all take very seriously. But she asked the principal, what is the procedures to pick up the walkers when it's raining? She was just trying to help her 9-year-old daughter not get rained on. So she parked off the road, went to the school with the umbrella to get her daughter. And then everything on this video transpires after that. But just as troubling as what the officer did to her and her being arrested is the arrest of 2 innocent black women who were bystanders, Jasmine Jefferson and Anita Gibson. And you watch the video for yourself. I mean, it is troubling that they would try to make it a criminal offense to videotape the interaction of law enforcement officers with citizens. I say to Sheriff Waters, if your officers are doing good policing in the community, why can't the public videotape it? Wouldn't you want everybody to be able to see your good police officers doing good police work? Or is it something more sinister? You know that there's a pattern in practice, and you don't want video showing how they really interact with citizens, especially black citizens. You don't really want them to video them engaging in excessive use of force with citizens. You really don't want them being caught in untruths and lies by citizens videotaping them. Is that the crux of the matter here? Is that what's going on in Jacksonville, Florida? Because we understand how critical this is, how many young black motorists have been killed doing simple traffic stops. and that is a problem. During routine traffic stops, our community has an ongoing concern across the country of suffering violent and deadly interactions at the hands of law enforcement. The type of force used on Erica McGriff, the chokeholds, the hair grabbing, the being punched with closed fists in the face, having knee put on her neck, should be reserved for armed and dangerous criminals who are a threat to the public and our safety, but not for mothers who are double parked to go pick up their daughter from school so she won't get rained on. Regardless of what you think, how she should comply, when you look at that excessive use of force, it is not right. The United States Supreme Court has issued decisions that have said even if you were engaging in a lawful arrest, you still cannot engage in excessive use of force. And what we saw with Erica was excessive use of force. This woman was beaten and is a victim of this excessive and justifiable use of force in front of her 9-year-old daughter and other students and parents at the school. This officer didn't seem to have regard for the environment or public safety when you watch that video in its entirety. Attorney Daniels will touch on some of those points in a moment. This brutality cannot be tolerated. Anyone with an ounce of humanity can see that this was unjustifiable and excessive, the way he brutalized this black woman. What happened to chivalry? What happened to chivalry? Where a man was supposed to display, kindness to women, be gentlemen. Is chivalry dead in Jacksonville? Or is it only dead in Jacksonville when it comes to black women? This is troubling on many levels, and it goes beyond just Miss McGriff. You see, Reverend, we have this so-called halo law designed to stop citizens from recording police activity and inhibit their First Amendment rights. It left 2 innocent bystanders in jail for being present and recording while this brutal arrest was taking place. If law enforcement is protecting and serving, there is no reason for them not to be recorded. If Sheriff Waters knows there's a pattern and practice of brutalizing citizens with excessive force in the black community in Jacksonville, then wouldn't he want to see what his officers are actually doing? Wouldn't the public have a right to know so we can try to solve this problem? Why are we trying to hide the truth? Why don't we want to have our officers operate in sunshine where everybody can see what great officers they are? But is the reason they want bystanders to be far away and not recording so we won't get to see and hear what's happening. Anita Gibson and Jasmine Jefferson were charged with violating the HALO statute that requires a 25-foot buffer zone from law enforcement. These women did not impede the officer from arresting Ms. McGriff. The officer did that by himself by continually escalating the situation. There was no de-escalation from this officer whatsoever. You all got to see the body cam video that went viral and was seen over 1 million times now in America. I'm sure by the end of the day it'll be 2 million times because people are starting to talk about this. But you all do understand that the sheriff released the body camera video trying to justify the brutality on Miss McGriff. And I think it fell flat on its face because when you look at that video, what it tells you is not only was that not justified, but it tells you the arrest of these 2 innocent black women who had humanity to say that don't do her like this. And ask for the PIN number on her cell phone once her daughter had given her the phone because she was a mother and she was concerned about her daughter and saying, well, who can we call? And for you doing that there, you're saying that she should be arrested and spend 72 hours in jail. A shame before God. I mean, think about that. Because she exhibited, because Miss Jefferson exhibited an ounce of humanity to say, what is the phone number? Who can I call to help your daughter? Don't do that to her in front of her child. She is arrested now under this law that the governor signed. And remember, go back, don't take Ben Crump's word for it. Go back and look at what his words were when he signed this law. He said there were too many people videotaping police officers and then having a narrative out there that was unfavorable to police. Those were his words. And they did it at the time when the young man in Chicago had been shot 91 times for a traffic violation. And people, law enforcement community was upset that people were videotaping their interactions with citizens and trying to call them into question and trying to hold them accountable and trying to say that these people have a right to equal justice under the law too. And for those reasons, they passed this unconstitutional law that is vague and ambiguous and arbitrary and capricious. And I mean, it flies in the very face of the First Amendment. And these black women are the first to be arrested under this law in the state of Florida. And so we have to make sure that just like when the Stand Your Ground law came and people didn't know how Trayvon got killed, well, this HALO law is going to become a word that everybody is talking about all across America, and these black women are going to be the martyrs that makes the world know that this HALO law is wrong. Right. It's just wrong. He arrested these women for being witnesses to the brutal and excessive arrest. We must not stand by as these women are the first to be charged under this unconstitutional law. We must fight back and say plainly that the HALO law is bad law. Public safety depends on accountability. Without people watching, we don't know what will happen. Can you imagine if there was no video? It happens to be George Floyd's birthday. If there was no video in the killing of George Floyd, can you imagine if there was no video in the brutal arrest of Erica McGriff? No, video is good. Transparency is good. Accountability is good because it all leads to trust. And isn't that what we want between law enforcement and the community. Trust. And that's what this is about, Sheriff Waters. Video is a good thing, not a bad thing. And let's continue to stand up for justice for these black women, the Jacksonville 3. Justice for the Jacksonville 3. Justice for the Jacksonville 3. Justice for the Jacksonville 3. At this time, you will hear from my co-counsel, a great lawyer who practices across America fighting for people's rights, but he has been intentional about trying to expose the pattern and practice of police brutality in Jacksonville, Florida. We did it with William McNeil, and we're honored to do it on behalf of these 3 black women, the Jacksonville 3. I give you Attorney Harry Daniels.
Justice for the Jacksonville 3.
Justice for the Jacksonville 3.
I like that. No restraint, no respect because of ratification. No restraint. Some Jacksonville sheriff officers have no restraint. They have no respect for some members of the community, and their actions are ratified by those who are over them. Miss McGriff was there to pick up a child. Something that's common as simple as drinking water. On that day, police officer stopped her for traffic violations. And let me be very clear what I mean by traffic violation in the state of Florida. These are civil infractions, meaning that you cannot be arrested for them. The worst, your points taken, or you had to pay a fine. But it's non-arrestable offenses. But this officer took it upon himself to grab her, detain her, put her in a wrist lock. So I used to work in law enforcement. I know exactly what he was doing, which is a very painful maneuver. And she said, my arm is hurting. She's placed in a wrist lock, a maneuver that's meant to cause pain, Pastor, for civil infractions. No respect, no restraint. Then she's taken to the ground, thrown to the ground, slung to the ground for civil infractions. She placed in a headlock, something that's been outlawed by the United States government for civil infractions. A knee on the neck. We know what a knee on the neck would do. We saw that in Minneapolis, Minnesota. All for civil infractions. Something you cannot even be arrested for. You see, Sheriff Waters, he skipped all that. He said she squared up, but he didn't talk about what happened before the square up. But we saw what happened because we had people out there recording. All for civil infractions. You know what they equal? Excessive, unlawful use of force. And this is nothing new here. This is nothing new here. I have no personal vendetta against anybody, sheriff or anybody. But I will pursue justice for those who continue to allow officers to violate people in the community's constitutional rights for civil infraction. Mr. McNeil, they say he was driving out his headlights on during the rain. Civil infraction. He didn't have his seatbelt on, civil infraction. But today he's suffering from a brain injury, traumatic brain injury. You got a young lady over here that's recently got out of jail because they say she violated the HALO law. That HALO law is one thing. I call it the lunar eclipse law in the Sunshine State, a full lunar eclipse, because designed and purpose to suppress people's First Amendment right to observe law enforcement, to record law enforcement. Supreme Court of the United States said if you can observe, you can record. This law is unconstitutional because it allows officers to determine if you're 25 feet away. But more importantly, the law has components to it, this HALO law. And as Attorney Crump said, the video that Sheriff Waters put out shows that neither of these women violated the HALO law. Because the first thing first, you have to be warned. After they was told to back up, given 25 feet, Miss McGriff was already in the car. The incident was already over.
She already had her daughter at the school.
This young lady have already taken her to the school already. So the only design purpose was to try to intimidate, harass. And I'm saying this for a reason, because those are the words in the HALO law. The only thing was designed to intimidate and harass these young women, this one young lady, and put her in jail.
My Lord, my Lord.
That reminds us of something. Reminds people who went to try to sit down at lunch counters during the 60s. People try to walk across a bridge to vote. Reminds us of something. People just try to exercise their constitutional right. Being only denied, thrown in jail. And a preacher having to give a letter from a Birmingham jail saying justice delayed is justice denied. Enough is enough. Now, I'm not going to hold you because we had a lot. We can talk about this all day, but I'll assure you that this is another example. Egregiousness, unlawfulness, use of force. And when I saw the video being, thought about my mom, thought about my sister, my family, my daughter. And what would have happened if they took the position, in the same position, hey, I'm just trying to get my daughter and pick up from the rain. Pick up because she won't get wet. Listen, this is a point that we have to stand in unity, because this is an ongoing occurrence here in Jacksonville, Duval County. And we have to acknowledge that this is not just a one-off. This is something that's progressively, that's continuing to happen in this community, and the community has to take a stand. Unified today or unified to polls. I'm done. I'm done.
Thank you. Justice for the Jacksonville 3. Justice for the Jacksonville 3. Justice for the Jacksonville 3. You know, it's good that we're in the house of the Lord, because what Sheriff Waters meant for bad, God meant it for good. That video really showed everything. It was even better than the cell phone video, because it showed the one time the officer did give a warning. That's when he was putting her in the police car. It was over. Ms. Jefferson had already taken her 9-year-old daughter into school trying to figure out, is there a family member I can call, because this baby just watched her mama get brutalized, and now she's left here by herself. And that is such an important issue. It's tragic what happened to Miss McGriff, but it is tragic what happened to Miss Jefferson and Miss Gibson, two innocent bystanders who just had a heart. I mean, that's what you want people to do, have a heart. To say, hey man, this little girl crying, you beating her mama like that, that's not right. And you hear on the video saying, you know, don't do her like that, get off of her. Ma'am, what is your number? How can I contact somebody for you? And you hear her trying to give her the number. And so that's her crime, allegedly, for asking for the phone number, for having a heart. So she's under facing criminal charges, so she's going to speak to you briefly, but I call her a hero. They want to call her a criminal. I call her a hero. I call her an angel for having an ounce of humanity for your fellow human being. So, Ms. Jasmine, and let me say this. Yeah, it comes down to trust. You all know how distrustful this Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has been to people who live in the black community. I mean, she gets a call. She's not arrested on the day this happens. It's 3 days later. 3 days later. 3 days later, she's arrested. After the sheriff goes and has a press conference, right, Attorney Daniels, and say that the people who were harassing them, we're going to get them. And so after that press conference, she gets called a couple of days later, and she is told by the officer that he's an investigator with Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, Senator Hill, and he says to her that I investigate officer conduct. I understand you were a witness. We want to take your statement. That's what he tells her. Where can we meet you at? She says where to meet him at, and they don't ask her one statement. They immediately arrest her and say that she broke the law based on this HALO law. Now, how disingenuous is that? How are you supposed to build trust with that? We want to take your statement and then we just arrest you. We don't ask you not one question about what happened. That was pretextual, just like it was pretextual when they stopped William McNeil. So you're going to hear from Jasmine in her own words briefly about what happened and why she did it. Jasmine.
I was just being a mother. Yeah, I heard her crying, and my parental instincts took over. I just wanted to help her baby. That was it. Nothing more, nothing less.
So, and going back to Jasmine here, in particular with the HALO law requires certain things. It has to have a warning, and after that warning is given, the person has to then violate, go against that warning, or stay within a particular distance to law enforcement. Jasmine, at the time where the officer made any comment about HALO and backing up, Jasmine wasn't even there. She wasn't there at all. So to look at this video and she's telling the officer to get off her, that wasn't there for the intimidate, harass. But even if that was the case, it wasn't the case, the officer had to have made a warning to back up. Then she had to engage. When he made the statements about HALO or back away from me, Jasmine was already gone. That shows you the intent of the sheriff's office to pursue people just for the sole purpose that they disagree with law enforcement. And this is only trying to censor her and put this mother in the Jacksonville County Jail. First time ever in the Jacksonville County Jail by protesting. And when the officer made the statement, she wasn't even there. The video shows it. Attorney Crump, right? Mm-hmm. She was gone. She was taking the child up to the school. Yep. So I want that you take a look at the video. You don't have to take Attorney Daniels, Attorney Crump. Look at the video. Look at the video.
Miss Jasmine,
This incident happened on a Tuesday. I was arrested on a Friday afternoon by Internal Affairs calling me, wanting to get a statement. That's it. They arrested me right on the spot.
72 hours.
Said I had a warrant for my arrest. I spent 72 hours in the Duval County Jail. I got out last night.
And all you was trying to do was
Was get a PIN code to a phone so I can call her grandmother.
my line.
I just got out last night.
It's not fair. It's not fair. That's why we got to fight for justice for the Jacksonville 3.
Justice for the Jacksonville.
Justice for the Jacksonville 3. Justice for the Jacksonville 3. Because if it can happen to them, it can happen to you. I mean, coming trying to re-engineer a narrative. Don't take my word, Ben Crump. Don't take Attorney Harry Daniels. Don't take Sheriff Waters' word for it. Go look at the videos for yourself. Look at the cell phone videos. Look at the police body camera video. And you look and determine whether you think Jasmine Jefferson should have been arrested and put in jail for 72 hours where she's now facing criminal charges just because she tried to help a 9-year-old little girl who was crying out for her mama. And Anita Gibson, you gonna see on the video, she, even though she said, I ain't gotta go nowhere, she kept walking away. She didn't go, nobody went towards this officer. When he said get back, they walked away. The school principal, he didn't get charged. He was right there trying to pull off. That's why we say this law is arbitrary and capricious. It's selective prosecution. If you expose the police brutality, then they want to criminalize you. That's what this law is about. The final two people you'll hear from is briefly from Miss Erica McGriff, and you'll hear from her godmother, Carlotta. Erica, Carlotta, take it to her, whatever.
I asked the principal what was the proper procedure when picking up the walkers whenever it was raining. That's it. He explained to me the procedures. I then went to pick up my daughter. It began to rain. All I was trying to do was get my daughter out of school without getting wet, drenched in the rain. That's all. And none of this, everything that happened, that was just like uncalled for, and it was not fair.
Yeah, and that's fine. She can't say very much because she is facing criminal charges, so thank you, Erica. Her godmother, Miss Charletta, is going to talk about what they've been dealing with.
As I stand here right now, my stomach just dropped because I immediately went back to the video. I did not want to watch the video. My daughter was like, Mama, you have to see the video. You have to see the video. These are my children. That's my godchild. That's my sister. My sister, she can't even watch the video. Her mother cannot watch the video. You cannot imagine what it will do to a mother to see your child being dug into the ground, beaten, punched by a man, And all she went to do was go pick up her children, went to go pick up her child. It had no business going the way that it went. No. And now we're dealing with PTSD. We've never been in the military. I was married to the military twice. This should not be a part of a family. This should not be a part of the village, of the black community. PTSD brought on by the police department. Something has to be done. And this child will remember this for the rest of her days. The rest of her days. And that's what I'm here standing for. Because they can't come up here for themselves because of the trauma that is taking place. I'm looking out at her sisters and her nieces and nephews and her aunts and aunties now. You have no idea what this has done to this family. This one incident that could have just been so minute, so very little, escalated the way that it did, and it's not fair.
It's not fair. No. Justice for the Jacksonville 3. Justice for the Jacksonville 3. Justice for the Jacksonville 3.
Justice for the Jacksonville 3.
Justice starts with all of us calling the state attorney's office, Melissa Nelson, and telling her to watch that video and drop these charges against these innocent bystanders for trying to have an ounce of humanity. That's what this is about. It's about looking at that video and telling the sheriff, this is excessive force. Don't condone this, condemn this excessive force. Just like we asked him to condemn the excessive force on William McNeil. I mean, we notice a pattern starting to develop, Alfonso. That pattern is black citizen has a minor traffic violation that could be handled with a notice, a citation, a civil infraction, but it ends up being a brutal act of excessive force where they can do the least intrusive thing, Senator Hill. They do the most every time. Look at the videos. They do the most. We don't see them doing this to white citizens. Our white sisters and brothers don't have to encounter this. Alfonso, what? Somebody showed us a video of a white woman spitting in the officer's face, and nothing happened to her. But a black woman trying to pick up her daughter from school in the rain, all hell break loose. A young black college student calling the police out for driving while black, saying you're lying, that it's not raining. I don't have to have my headlights on, but all hell breaks loose. And the sheriff seems to just look over all of that there and arrest bystanders who are videotaping. Shouldn't you be arresting the police officers who hit William McNeil versus arresting Jasmine Jefferson and Anita Gibson? I mean, yeah, we got work to do. We want good policing. We don't want you to protect and serve everybody else and assault and batter us. We just want equal justice under the law. Nothing more, nothing less. Sheriff Waters, we're not asking for anything more than you will give to the white citizens here in Jacksonville. That's all the black community is asking for. Nothing more. With that, Attorney Daniels and I will try to take some of your questions if you have any. Obviously, the clients won't be answering questions because they have these criminal charges hanging over their head. If you have any questions. Yes, ma'am.
This is your several stop here in Duval County within the last few months. Are you planning a class action lawsuit against JSO?
Well, Attorney Daniels and I are exploring every possible legal avenue to hold the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office accountable, but more importantly, we don't want to have to keep coming back to have black people being brutalized and killed. I mean, that's what we're praying for. We want to close down the police brutality department in our offices. But regrettably, it seems to be getting worse, especially here in Jacksonville, Florida. So everything is a possibility. Attorney Daniels, I don't know if you want to speak to that.
That's a good question. Actually, a part of that have already been filed in the William McNeil lawsuit. Of course, that continue to happen, and as excessive use of force continue to happen, obviously you can have amendments. So that issue have been taken up already. So if you look at the William McNeil lawsuit, we've already made a claim for Braxton Patterson against the sheriff directly. Right.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And you guys touched a lot today on Taylor law. What specific legal action are you guys planning to take moving forward?
Well, we want to make sure these bogus charges are dropped first and foremost. And, I mean, she spent 72 hours in jail for trying to help a 9-year-old child crying out for her mother. We want to get accountability, and so we will keep you posted. First things first, we want these women to not be convicted of these bogus charges?
To add on top of that, so we are appalled that the sheriff could look at a video and somebody interpret a HALO law as they have interpreted to make charges against these innocent bystanders for protesting under given their First Amendment right. As Attorney Crump stated, we believe that the law as written is unconstitutional. And what we mean by that, it gives officers the ability, the discretion to decide what is considered 25 feet, what is considered by emotional stress, how the law is written. And the United States Supreme Court have already said those type of laws are unconstitutional because they the officer can be arbitrarily and capricious in enforcing those laws. As you see, as Attorney Crump stated, you had a school teacher, a principal, who was clearly impeding the officers trying to put Mr. Griffin handcuffs, and he wasn't charged. So, I mean, you know, the officers being able to cherry pick who he want to charge, and that's a problem. I mean, I can be standing 26 feet, he can be standing 24 feet. How would an officer know depth perception? He's on the ground over here. You can't make that determination. And in this case, it's just bad facts. The video is crystal clear, you know, and it only leans to one thing, Attorney Crump, is that the sheriff is aiding and abetting the suppression of people's First Amendment rights.
That part.
That's all it is, aiding and abetting. And trying to intimidate folks in the community. Don't record the police, because what he have seen, and this young lady asked this question, what we have seen, these video cameras are showing the real Jacksonville Sheriff Office.
That part.
Because they just started releasing body cameras in 2020 with Jamie Johnson case. Now you see what's really happening. And they're trying to prevent you from doing it such. They can say, well, it's okay to record, it's okay. Well, if it was okay to record, in this case, the recorder, the person who was recorded, whoever that person was, they clearly was closer than 25 feet. Where's that person at?
Yep.
It was weaponized against these two young women who protest against the officer unlawful action. So,
You know, it's so deep when you think about, and I work with a lot of young, smart people, Alfonso, and they put a video together on social media showing William McNeil's brutal arrest and Erica McGriff's brutal arrest, both at the hands of Jacksonville Sheriff's deputies. And you notice a pattern. But when Attorney Daniels was speaking, it made me think, Mr. Daniels, that the sheriff in Jacksonville Sheriff's Department watched a video where William McNeil was punched and plummeted. And then they watched a video where Jasmine Jefferson said, we want to get the pin code. Get off of her so we can get the pin code for her daughter. And they made a decision that what they saw William McNeil endure wasn't a crime, but they said what Jasmine Jefferson did was a crime. I mean, this doesn't add up at all. You see somebody being punched, not resisting, slammed on the ground, tooth broken, head injured, and everything. You say, oh, that's fine. But a young woman who doesn't lay any hands, doesn't do anything to anybody, she spends 72 hours in jail and facing criminal charges. How does that add up? That math don't math. Any other questions? We'll take a couple more and then we'll...
Kind of two questions on the HALO law specifically. One, do you plan on challenging the constitutionality of the law?
Yes.
And two, there was mention of the law basically existing to prevent people from filming the incident. The people who did film the incident, they were not arrested. There was obviously a lot of people around that whole scene. Many of them were black citizens. Why do you think Jasmine and Gibson, why were they singled out? No one else was.
I think because they ain't identified the others. I think that Attorney Daniels is right. They are using this law, they have weaponized it to try to intimidate people from protesting or saying anything to hold these officers accountable. Jasmine was videotaping, and she was asking for the number. And all she said, listen to the video, don't take my word for it, don't take Waters' word for it, go listen to the video. Did she do anything to warrant a criminal charge when you watch that video? And I think we are right on both grounds, the constitutionality as well as the factual display of what we see on the video. He never warned her. When he gave the warning, go listen to it yourself, brother. When she gave the warning, he was putting Erica in the police car. You heard Ms. Gibson say, we don't have to go anywhere, but they all are walking back. Even though they are in their own way challenging this law, they're still complying. Nobody was coming towards him. This is what the video evidence is. This is what ocular proof. And so that's all we're saying. You know, it's arbitrary and capricious. I mean, right there, you framed it. Why didn't he arrest everybody? Why didn't they arrest the principal? The selective prosecution.
On the face of that law, the person had to be advancing towards law enforcement or refusing to leave the distance in which law enforcement requires. That's on the face of the law. It's written within the law. One of the Ms. Jasmine wasn't even there at the gave warning, so she couldn't advance anywhere. She was gone. And Ms. Gibson, when he made the comment, she started walking away. In order for that law for you to be charged with that, you have to have one or the other. Jasmine was gone, Ms. Gibson's walking away. So that law, you can only deduce one thing. You can only deduce one thing. Because you said the other people were there filming. The principals was right on top of it. I didn't know, I thought he was the one that got charged with the Halo law. I was shocked when I heard that the two women was charged with Halo law. Was prepared to defend him.
Yeah.
But when you look at the video is very clear. How can you charge two people? One person is not there, the other person walking away, but the one person the two people who's right there on top of the officers not even charged. So you can only get, like Ben said, the math's not mapping. You can only deduce one thing. They were charged because they spoke out against that officer, which they have a constitutional First Amendment right. And if the officer can charge, I'm breaking it down, breaking the legal down to you now. If the officer can charge based on somebody making a statement, that is an unconstitutional, arbitrary, capricious law. Simple as that. Amen. I just took y'all to law school.
We'll take one last question. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you, Attorney Crump and Daniels. The President, Donald J. Trump, has talked about his voice having holiday for police who beat up on people. Is this kind of conduct coming out of that kind of encouragement?
We know right now in America we're at a crossroads. Whether we're going to respect the Constitution of the United States or we're going to become a police state. We said it when William McNeil was brutalized. And the warning is if you become a police state, it's hard to come back from that. I mean, if the police have no accountability whatsoever, God help us all, because today it was their child, their loved one. Tomorrow it could be you.